Look like it's time to pull up some receipts. Before we get into this video, make sure you hit like, share my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, make sure that your notifications are on and they're set to all. Now, let's get into this. But first, quick commercial break. Noble Gold Investments is pleased to let you know that gold is the best investment class for 2022. Real estate, crypto, stocks, and bonds, gold outperformed all of them in 2022. So what are you waiting for? Noble Gold Investments have helped thousands of clients buy real physical gold. Open a gold IRA or a silver IRA with Noble Gold Investments this month and receive a free 1/4 ounce American Gold Eagle coin with every qualifying IRA of $50,000. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold, and there are thousands of 5-star reviews. And if you're not ready to invest, download the Noble Gold Investments Gold Investment Guide. Scroll down below and you'll find the link in the description box. For mobile users, click the More button to find the link. Now, let's get to this video. That's right, America. This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. And I love it, man. I love when you have to pull up receipts to, prove your point. And we got a situation here where lately these Republicans have been doing a little bit of investigations and holding some hearings into what has been going on with our intel community, with the DOJ, with the FBI these last few years. I mean, they're getting so belligerent and so open when it comes down to the weaponization of the FBI that they don't even care. They don't even try to hide it. They just straight come out and like, you know what? So what if it looks obvious that we was going after the parents, and forget the fact that we got whistleblowers all over the place saying that we're weaponizing the FBI. We don't care. We don't care. What are you going to do? Well, it appears that there are some Republicans that are trying to do something about it. Now, how it all ends up, we don't know. We'll have to see. I said in my live show that I need to see some results. I'm sick of just seeing a lot of great sound bites, but I need to see some action, man. These folks will not change their behavior if they're allowed to ride this out until the Republicans are out of power. And then you got the same people remaining in power. All they're going to do is wedge themselves deeper into this cabal, and they're going to block every avenue to go ahead and hold them accountable. So if they can weather the storm, then that will only embolden them. They need to have some examples made of some of the bigger actors in regards to this weaponization of our intel communities, which brings me to James Clapper. Okay, he's a big actor. Clapper's a big actor, y'all. Yeah, so let's go ahead and check out, first of all, a couple of statements from the Republicans during the hearing to try to tell the public why they're having these hearings and why it's important. Because apparently James Clapper right now is trying to do cleanup on aisle 5. Okay, so let's check it out. Here we go.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, a lot has been said here about the fear of threats, but what we're concerned about in the scope of this committee is the fear of threats to the American citizens. The reason we use the term weaponization is because it is appropriate. We have so many examples of that across so many federal agencies that were designed to serve and protect the American people and have been used in recent years against them, that it will take us probably 2 years to lay that out. But our Democrat colleagues have tried to downplay the importance of this select committee and even criticize its name as hyperbolic. But as this example and so many others clearly show, key agencies have indeed been weaponized. We're informed even still today that that memo has not been retracted by the Attorney General.
Now, did y'all hear that? That man laid out some statements that I can concur. I can agree with, because see, I lived it. I have been paying attention to this for the last few years. Now, to someone who's a casual viewer of politics, or maybe who just gets their news from the fake news, they have no idea that this type of stuff has been going on. The weaponization of the federal government, the FBI, the DOJ, the intel community have been taking place several years. We've seen their handiwork. And what's odd about what that man just said is that the Democrat Party suspiciously have a problem with this. They have a problem with these Republicans looking into all of these activities by the FBI, the DOJ, the intel community, especially considering what they've done and what they said has been proven to be wrong. So my question is, why aren't the Democrats on board with this? Could it be that all of the corruption, the lying, the falsification, the leaking, and all of that stuff all was done to benefit the Democrat Party? Because if they really cared about the citizens and protecting civil liberties of the American citizens, they wouldn't just say, well, you know what? We only want to protect the rights of liberal voters. They would want to protect the rights of all citizens, parents that might feel that they want to voice how they feel about their kids' education. They would want even to protect people that might be abused concerning January 6th without a trial, sitting in prison for like a whole year, overcharged. They might want to look into that. They might want to look into the fact that the FBI is snooping around and asking parents some questions about what they said at meetings at a school board. They might want to look into that, because don't that seem a little like overkill? I would think the Democrats, if they weren't tyrannical, if they didn't agree with the overstepping and abuse of power by these intel communities and the weaponization of them, you would think if they didn't agree with that, they would be on board with these investigations. I mean, you can't even dispute some of the things that we've witnessed. And suspiciously, they're defending these people. I think it's because they use these agencies to their advantage. That's what I think. But hey, it's just me. Let's hear from another Republican about her view of it.
Of the people that were made aware of the Hunter Biden laptop story, 53% would have changed their vote, including 61% of Democrats. This is the definition of election meddling, and it's the definition of election meddling by the FBI on behalf of Democrats, paid for by the U.S. taxpayers. It's collusion, it's corruption, and it's unconstitutional. Because this is not just about the Twitter files, which folks are focused on because of the news it made. It's about a systemic rot in the culture and the politicization of the leadership of the FBI, and it needs to be rooted out.
Well now, 53% of the voters, including Democrats, said that they would have changed their vote. Now that sounds like election meddling to me. That's what it sounds like. It sounds as if these people just came out of nowhere and abused the fact that they so-called have a title and they were part of the intel community, and all of a sudden they signed this letter, and it made some people who were not aware of how corrupt our government really can be think that, well, yeah, well, there you have it. I mean, it's just obvious that this is Russian disinformation and people are trying to be deceived. Donald Trump's probably behind it, only to find out that it was true about the laptop, and these intel agents actually knew that. And so did Joe Biden. That man got up there during a debate and used these former intel community people as an excuse of why, they said it was a lie. They said it was, Russian disinformation. Trump and Giuliani is behind it. Now, you know that Joe Biden knew at that time that that laptop belonged to his crackhead son. He knew it. And he looked into that camera and lied to the American people. If anybody should be mad, it should be the voters. They should be upset. The ones who fell for that crap should be mad because, see, by them covering it up, we don't know how compromised Joe Biden is. All of that corruption on that laptop could be a reason why we got balloons floating all over the place and not being shot down by China. Could be, part of that $1.5 billion deal that, Hunter was able to negotiate with China. Could be all of that stuff. But thanks to the intel community trying to make sure that mean old orange man bad didn't get reelected, we had a lot of voters vote ignorantly. Now that to me is more Russia collusion than the Russians. But we have James Clapper now trying to come out and get ahead of it by saying the only reason we wrote that letter and gave it to Politico, it wasn't to sway an election. It seems like he's doing a cleanup on Al 5. So let's hear from Liberal Hive Mind, the latest response by James Clapper, who's trying to get ahead of this.
Former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper accused Politico of, quote, deliberately misrepresenting a letter he and 50 other intelligence veterans signed regarding the Hunter Biden laptop story. Clapper, who served as the nation's spy chief during the Obama administration, said the letter did not assert that reporting on the laptop was part of a Russian disinformation operation, a notion that Politico peddled with its headline when first reporting the existence of the letter. There was a message distortion, Clapper told the Washington Post's fact-checkers. All we were doing was raising a yellow flag that this could be Russian disinformation. Politico deliberately distorted what we said. It was clear in paragraph 5. To which my response is, very frankly, please, Mr. James Clapper, F off.
Oh man, I tell you, I mean, did y'all hear that? Yeah, that's pretty funny. So Liberal Hive Mind had to come out and read that. Apparently, James Clapper, who's standing here right now on CNN, because we're about to pull the receipts up. That man said that, shoot, they misunderstood what I was trying to say. I wasn't saying that it was absolute. No, man, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying it could be. It could be. Now, what this appears to be is that he's trying to get out ahead of this before he gets drug into Congress and have to justify why him and all of these people signed on to this, okay? Because now he's trying to make it appear that it was kind of, just a hypothesis. It was loosey-goosey. We didn't have no facts. I guess he didn't have no more connections in the intel community where he could have called and said, hey, man, what's up with this? In fact, why would you even get involved in this if you could not verify or disprove it? This man no longer had his clearance. He wasn't involved in this. So why would he even decide, let me go ahead and drop my signature on this, unless he was doing it for the purposes of sabotaging Trump and this narrative to try to help Biden get into office? Other than that, you ain't supposed to be using your formal leverage and title as a former intel community leader to sway an election, to throw out an alternative narrative, to calm down the people, make them think something differently, all of that stuff. That right there is an abuse of your position and your power. It sounds like that you are weaponizing the intel community. Sounds like to me that you're becoming political, man. Sounds like to me that you are deliberately lying to the people. And now you're trying to say it was political. They the one that lied to the people. They mischaracterized my words. So we better go ahead and pull up the receipts to hear the actual words from this troll. Because that's what he looks like right there. He looks like a troll. So let's hear from the troll and see what he actually said, y'all. And see if it sounds like it was, just a theory and stuff like that. So let's go ahead. Receipt time. Here we go.
Obama. So, Director, a bunch of questions from this. Let me just start with this. How much does the source matter, right? So you hear the story of this laptop. We don't know a lot. We do know that the way that this information is getting out is through Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani. How much does the source matter here?
Well, the source matters a lot, and the timing matters a lot, I think. And to me, this is just classic textbook Soviet-Russian tradecraft at work. The Russians have analyzed the target. They understand that the president and his enablers crave dirt on Vice President Biden, whether it's real or contrived. It doesn't matter to them.
Y'all hear the receipts right now? That guy doesn't sound like someone who's just, philosophizing, has a hypothesis. No, sound like this guy is purposefully undermining the authority, coming out saying, first of all, this effort is to discredit the source. Notice what she did, because see, they're working together. She's like, how important does the source matter? Well, it matters a lot. Thanks for asking that question. Definitely Rudy Giuliani and Bannon and all of them. Yeah. See, those white nationalists, there is absolutely a reflection of these people right here, because they just want dirt on their opponent. They're evil. Has nothing to do with it being true. Call them crazy, tinfoil hat, evil. These folks right here working with the Kremlin, they're allowing themselves to be used by the Kremlin. This guy is being used by CNN, and really, he's probably using CNN to go ahead and add some type of legitimacy on this whole narrative that it was the Russians. So this guy is accusing American citizens of being Russian agents and pushing Russian propaganda, knowing that that laptop was real. So in other words, what this dude's doing is pushing Russian propaganda. Now, do you see why it's so important that these Republicans get rid of evil folks like this? We cannot have a country with folks with this type of power and influence out there doing this and deceiving the public, altering the outcome of elections. The real election collusion was right here in front of us with the intel community, with big tech, with big media, fake media that is, and the Democrat Party. But I'm not finished exposing this by showing y'all these receipts, y'all.
And so all of a sudden, two and a half weeks before the election, this laptop appears somehow without, and emails on it without any metadata. It's all very curious. But
and you know what else is curious? Just how the FBI managed to meet with Twitter in October, right, before the election, and kind of prepped them to let them know, hey, man, there's going to be an October surprise coming. Now, I'm going to let you know, it could be Russian disinformation. Let's go ahead and use Hunter Biden as a subject for this hypothetical scenario. We'll just use Hunter Biden. And just so happen, the story comes out and it happens to be about Hunter Biden. And Twitter has already been prompted to know that that must be the Russian disinformation they were speaking of. What a coincidence. It's actually Hunter Biden. They didn't even bother to switch up the subject in the hypothetical scenario. They didn't call him Subject A. They didn't make up a name. All right, just imagine if James right here. No, they went with Hunter Biden. Now, what are the chances of that, since he wants to talk about just so happens it's a coincidence and all of that? Yeah, what is a coincidence is the fact that the laptop came out and then they banned it, they suppressed it, and then a couple days go by, give you guys time to respond and come up with a fake narrative. And just so happened, all of these willful participants, former folks in the intel community, decided to do their job as a citizen and sign on saying that, yep, this has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. That is a coincidence. How did you gather all those people up that fast, Jimmy? So, yeah, that sounds like a coincidence to me. It sounds like this dude right here is trying to clean up his act. So let's go ahead and finish with these receipts, okay?
So here you have a willing target, and the Russians who are very sophisticated about how to exploit a willing target.
And you know what? It sounds as if our own intel community is also very skilled at how to use dis and misinformation to deceive their own people. These folks who our tax dollars pay for are using our tax dollars to deceive us and create the illusion that we have a republic and our votes are being counted and what we're hearing is truth and all of that stuff. Yet this guy right here is creating a big fat matrix type narrative that people have bought into. And now come to find out that this was the liar. This guy was the person being used by the Russians, if he wants to play that game. This guy was the bad source of information. As he said, that Giuliani and Steve Bannon and all of them were the bad source of information. And we know that it wasn't, oh, well, Politico kind of took it a little too far. We didn't mean that. You're listening to this man right now emphasize all of this stuff that he's not saying it as, well, you know, it could be. This man is undermining every narrative about how serious and how true that laptop story was. That's what he's doing right here, even though he tried to make it seem like Politico maybe took his words out of context. Well, let's go ahead and finish hearing from the horse's big fat mouth.
And to me, that's what's at work here.
And so, you know, when you try to figure out the specifics of, you know, whether that meeting email, for example, is real in the midst of this, do you think stuff like that could just have been planted in there and be completely fake?
I do. I think the emails could be contrived, particularly since, as I understand it from what I've read, they appear without any metadata. That is, you know, from, to, and any technical data, at least immediately evident.
Well, there you have it. I do. I mean, I think those can be absolutely contrived and all of that stuff. And you see the CNN lady with her eyes closed. Like, this is a shame. Now, here he is. He's not trying to give a alternative, you know, conclusion. He's not trying to give an alternative theory like, well, it could be that way and it may not be. It could be real, it may not be. No, his whole goal and objective during this whole interview was to undermine the whole narrative and to create this false narrative that, yes, do not put your faith in that email. It doesn't seem real. He didn't check anything himself. He sat back and allowed her to come out and throw a pass to him, a softball, and he caught it and ran with it. And she knows exactly what she's doing. She knew what things she needed to say, what questions she needed to ask to undermine that whole narrative, starting off with undermining the source, then coming out, using and abusing the fact that you were a part of the intel community and your opinion is supposed to be legit and taken seriously, and then go ahead and undermine the metadata, which this guy didn't even lay eyes on, didn't have any first-hand knowledge of, and yet he's throwing this out there like he knows. He's not saying, I don't know, I haven't really looked into it, I can't confirm that or deny it. His job was not to make it still be a possibility. His job was to completely undermine it. And now that the Republicans are in power, he's coming out saying, well, maybe my words were taken out of context. Well, I'll let you guys be the judge. You just heard his words right there. Did it sound like Politico might have embellished, took it out of context? You know, no, it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like that man did his job as an operative, as a source and an advocate for the Democrat Party to undermine our election. And now he's just trying to clean it up by blaming it on Politico. They read into it. Well, this is exactly why the Republicans are doing this oversight. And this is exactly why this is extremely important, because people like him and all those that participated in this swayed an election. You want to see some Russian information and disinformation right there. You want to see the source of all of the Russia collusion right there. Yep. Putin has nothing on what this dude did and what the Democrats have done, talking about Trump was a Russian agent, which was a lie. Got a FISA warrant, which was corrupt, and they shouldn't have had one. They sat back and called Giuliani and dang on Steve Bannon all Russian agents and being used by the Russians. All of this have been lies. And yet we got the Democrat Party concerned about why it's important to do oversight and get to the bottom of this. Yeah, it's unnecessary. These guys have been legit the whole time. And this is just nothing more than more partisanship. Or could it be them going after the very source and power of the Democrat Party to continue manipulating our politics by using the intel community? I think that's the answer to it. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. Make sure that you subscribe to my alternative channel. The link's below this video. Hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, and all those other platforms. Make sure you turn your notification button on to all. And then finally, make sure if you want to donate to Kevin's Corner, feel free. There's a link below all my videos to do that through my Cash App and my PayPal. God bless y'all. God bless America. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.